Hey guys, this is Lauren from My Something Beautiful Life, and I'm super excited because in this video I'm going to show you my 2021 planner lineup. So before I get started, I just wanted to let you know that sometimes I do receive products from planner companies for free in order to review or for specific projects or collaborations. This video is not part of a specific collaboration with them, but some of the products that I'm showing you are products that I have previously received for free. Again, this particular video is not something I'm required to make. These are the planners I'm actually using, and I just wanted to share them with you. These are just simply planners that I love. Additionally, the links that I provide below are oftentimes affiliate links. This doesn't change your shopping experience or your price at all. It just means that if you make a purchase after clicking on one of the links, then I will usually make a small commission off of that purchase. So with all of that out of the way, let's just jump into the planners. Now, don't be deceived by these 3 planners sitting right here. I do have a couple more to show you, and take the word couple very liberally. I just thought I would start with the easier ones first. So all 3 of these are ones that I have been using already. So I do just want to point out, I do use multiple planners. I realize this isn't for everyone. For me, I have found a good balance between the planners that I actually need in a separate planner and the things that I can do within another planner, like combining them. So this is just the system that has been working for me. I have a couple variations to what I'm doing that I'm changing up, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference in my planning process. And like I said, a lot of these planners I've already been using, and so it's not really anything different from what my current setup is. So the first one that I want to start with is this Clever Fox notebook. It's actually I believe it's called the Dotted Journal 2.0. I love this book. I've tried and used a lot of Clever Fox products. I love their company. This is probably one of my favorite products. I love that the cover is a little flexible. I actually did a review of this book not too long ago, and I kind of show you how to use it, so I'll link to that below. In fact, a lot of the planners I'm going to show you, I actually have videos describing them in more detail, so I will link to all of those below. So this is one of them. But essentially, this is what I call my bullet journal. It's pretty much more like a to-do list. So I really just use it for anything that I need to write down. So I have lists in here. It's not super decorated. I've kind of found like my groove with using mild liners and just the black line. But this is just, I just write down anything that I think of and put it in here, and it's been working really well for me to just get things out of my head, because I've noticed that if I try to just remember everything, then it stresses me out. So if I just end up writing down anything that I think of and just checking off what I can or moving it to another day, it just helps me relax and not have to worry about it anymore. So that's pretty much all I use this for. I just use it for lists and for just reference type things. I put some of my goals for 2021 in here, my goal ideas, I should say. And it's just been working really well for me. And so I'm going to keep using that as needed. All right, the next one I want to show you is my on-the-go folio and petite planners. This is made by Erin Condren, and this is another one I've been using for a while. I have another video explaining this in further detail, and this is just how I have it set up for the coming year. So the first thing I have in here is the daily planner. This is actually something I tried at the beginning of 2020. I didn't utilize it as well as I could have, and so I have this, and I'm going to give it another shot because I'm finding that I really do need to plan on a more day-to-day basis. So I have that to work on. You can see the inside just flip through. There's not really anything in it right now. So there's that one. This one is the meal planner. I have been using this. I don't use it all the time, but I do use it. So that's another one that I'm keeping. The next one in here is the wellness log. Again, haven't been using it regularly, but I love it. I love this layout, and it has worked really well for me. when I follow through with it. And so this is something I want to try to be better at. And so this is staying in my petite planner, or sorry, my on-the-go folio. The next one they have in there is just a blank notebook. In fact, there's not even anything in it except some post-it notes about what I want to put on some of the pages. But pretty much this will just be for reference. Anything that's more permanent type information, or long-term at least. This is just so I have a place to write it down that I can go back and reference it. So that's what I have in my on-the-go folio. It's pretty simple setup, and again, I do have another video going into more depth that I can show, or I can link to below. All right, and then here's my life planner. Obviously, this is a holiday cover. I love the interchangeable covers. It's one of my favorite things about the Erin Condren planners, is that the covers can switch out. I have a nice big collection of them, and so I change them at least once a month, if not more. Anyway, this is my weekly planner. Well, monthly and weekly. I do use the monthlies too. I just don't have as much to put on them as I do weeklies, and so they just don't look as busy. But so like here's my December monthly, and then here's a weekly that you can see. I keep it pretty functional. What I usually do is I divide up the columns into 3 sections, and you can see it divided up with the different colors of mild liners. And then I just have one strip of checklist stickers. All the stickers on here are ones I made myself because I knew what I wanted specifically for this planner, and so I custom designed a sticker kit for my weeklies that I knew would work for me. And this is just how I schedule out the things that I need to do. I really don't have a lot of set appointment time things. I have things that need to get done on certain days, like when I have to do payroll, but for the most part, I don't have like appointments. So having a long checklist divided into sections actually works perfectly for me. And like I was talking about with the Clever Fox, I usually just need to get it out of my head. So if I put it in here first, then I go through and I can add it to my weekly where it needs to go. But then at least the bullet journal just helps me get it out of my head. So this is pretty much all that's in here. I don't really use any of the extra pages. I don't even have anything on the notes pages yet, although I have a few ideas for things I might put on there. I want to track better the books that I'm reading, and so I'm thinking about putting something like that in the notes. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I just plan my weeks in here. This is what a lot of people I think would call a catch-all. This is like my main planner. Okay, so those 3 are my standard everyday planners. The next ones that I'm going to show you are more tailored to fit specific parts of my life, and so I will go into what each of those are. So the first one is my Powersheets. This is my 2nd year using my Powersheets. I actually have my first one right here too, and I absolutely love it. This is the first goal planner I've been able to stick to. I have done it every single month. I have not been perfect about accomplishing my goals. I mean, that's kind of the point, is progress, not perfection. So don't think that just because I did it all year means that I like rocked my goals, because honestly, it wasn't that. I was able to accomplish a lot that I wanted to, but there were a lot of things that didn't make much progress at all. So just something to keep in mind. I'm not going to show you too much in detail in this because I have done most of my prep work in here. We had Cultivate Your Year live, I want to say it was last week, and that was amazing and really cool to watch. I think they are actually making it available for people to buy if you still want to watch it and you didn't sign up in the first place. So if I can find the link to that, I will link to that below. But Powersheets is my ultimate favorite goal planner that I have ever used. I've always been very, very passionate about goals, and this is a system that just really works with me. And I can show you, I'll show you one of the months just so you can see it. Again, I have a whole video on this that I can link to below. But just so you see, at the beginning of every month, you have kind of this little brain dump section where you can jot down some things that are on your mind. You do get a monthly calendar. I have not really used this year. However, next year I was thinking it would be really good to use this for memory keeping, because I think it would be kind of cool to have major events noted and just memory type things with my goal planner. It just sounded like something that would be fun for me, so I might try to do that in the coming year. The next page, you have a brainstorm for your goals for the month, and then you have your monthly tending list. So this is what Powersheets is pretty much made out of. This and the prep work are the whole idea behind the Powersheets. I love the idea of actually picking specific action items that you're going to work on and how frequently you need to do it. Is this something you need to do daily, something you need to do once a week? Or is this just one larger project or just a one-time thing that you just like to get done that month? So the Powersheets is my goal planner for 2021. And for anyone who's wondering, this is the sea glass cover. It's kind of a minty green. All right, the next one I want to talk about is my content and blog planner. So this looks like a lot. Hear me out for a sec. Okay, this one is my one for this year. Well, I should say one of them. This is the other one I'm using. This is an Erin Condren monthly planner. They used to be called deluxe monthly planners, and so that's what I always want to say. It's the Erin Condren monthly planner. So within each month, you get a calendar. Actually, it starts before that. You get a notes page. You get the calendar. You get another notes page and this little, whatever you want to call it. It's like a sectioned off page. Okay. And then you get, I believe it's 8 note pages within each month. Yeah. And then it moves on to the next month. So this just has a lot of space to just write in it. This is what I have actually been using for a couple years now. I've been using the monthly planners for a while. What changed was at the beginning, or I should say at the end of last year, a company called Purple Trail Planners contacted me and offer if I wanted to review one of their planners. And so this is the one I picked. This is a content planner. Well, they have lots of planners. I picked the content planner because that's something that I felt I could use at the time. I'm going to see if I can find something where I didn't actually use very much. Okay, this week I didn't do it. This is what the weekly layouts look like. They also have the monthly pages, but then at the bottom, this is what makes it specific for a content planner, is that they have these little social icons down here. Honestly, I don't think I ever ended up using them. What I did use, though, was obviously not very frequently since I am having trouble finding one. Okay, here's one. What I did was I actually liked to schedule things out on specific days. So before, when I was just using the monthly planner, all I had was notes pages, which is really great for writing notes about blogs that I'm working on, YouTube videos I'm working on, collaborations that are going on, just anything like to-do lists for changes I need to make on my blog and website and anything like that. I love having the notes pages to just write down whatever I need that month. But I found that I actually really like writing it down on a weekly layout. So last minute on Black Friday, I decided to add another planner to my collection. I was planning on just using the monthly, and I bought a Plum Paper. One of the reasons I went with Plum Paper was for a specific weekly layout, and that is called the Me Layout. What it is it has the 6 boxes down on each day of the week. I love this because I can use it to divide up things like my blog, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, website, whatever else I need to do, like anything else that's going on. Mostly the constants will be my blog and YouTube. And then whatever else I have going on that week, I can give each one a specific block for that week. It also has a to-do section and some notes down here. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to use it. Some of these things, well, the to-do list is pretty obvious, but some of the features like this are things that I kind of find a need as I start to use it. And so my plan is to just jump into it and just kind of see what it leads to. Another thing that I liked about Plum Paper is the different add-ons that you can choose. So at the end of the month, they do give you a notes page right here. And I chose to add on 2 more other notes pages. Like I said with the monthly, I love having extra note pages to just write things down that I need. And I never know what that might be in any given month. Honestly, it often changes. But I love that they have the option to add that in. The other thing I did was at the very end of the planner, let's see, I got a section called blog. And inside here, it has login information, a monthly overview. This is the page I love. And I'm actually starting to wish that I had chosen to have this page at the end of each month, just to have it closer. But I liked the rest of the pages inside the blog section, and I really didn't want to get both because that was just a little overkill. I don't need double these pages. But this is the page that kind of even sold me on Plum Paper. Was I love this layout. So here you have a post idea brainstorm. You have any notes, and if any of these don't work for me, I have no problem crossing them out and just changing them. There's a to-do list for the month. There's the blog post schedule with the little check marks of whether it's written, edited, and posted. And I will include YouTube videos in this list too. And then you have a post-month review. So I love this. I love this layout. And I put in one of the little Erin Condren bookmarks. I'm obsessed with these. I think I buy like every single one because I just use them everywhere. Anything that is spiral bound, I will put one of these little bookmarks in. All right, so I have that. So it has 12 of those, one for each month. And then after, let's see, has advertising, sponsorship, and reviews, giveaways and contests, an expense tracker, and an income tracker. Oh, and then a yearly overview. I do wish there were more expense trackers and income trackers. I was even looking to see if they had these individually that I could put within the months and couldn't find them. But that's something I would have loved to have more of too. Because honestly, I don't think this is enough expense trackers for 1 year. And to be quite honest, hopefully this isn't enough income trackers. But as it is right now, that would probably be fine. But it would just be nice to have a few more of these. I have to say, one thing I love about the Plum Paper planners is the paper. I just love smooth paper, and this paper is just really nice. And of course, it's also an added benefit that their covers are interchangeable. In fact, this cover, I kind of have it snapped on. This is the one I bought it with. This one is actually not interchangeable yet. I did not have them cut it to be interchangeable. However, I will probably cut it myself. So I have double covers on it right now. And I do want to mention, I've watched a lot of the reviews for Plum Paper, and everybody that I've seen has said that this is a really thick cardstock. This is not cardstock, this is plastic. For anybody who's wondering, like, that's why the material is so hard to rip, because it's not just a coated cardstock. Like, this is full on a plastic coating or a plastic cover. So you have that, these plastic covers, and then you also have the clear one that goes over it. So these are pretty durable. I'm not expecting to have any problems with this. My planners mostly stay here. I don't really take them anywhere, so honestly, like, they'll probably be fine. Even if I was going to carry it around, I'm not too worried that this would have any problems. I think it would hold up fine over time. So that's how I'm handling content planning. I'm still going to use the monthly planner the same way I was. Any notes that I need to take in there, it'll probably mostly be specific projects that I'm working on or blog posts that have more details than others that will go in here, and I'll use the monthly as my content calendar still. And then this one will be used to schedule out my weeks more specifically, so I know what I need to get done on what day. And then of course the blog add-on pages that I love will be super helpful. So we're going to try that for next year. So again, this one I've been using already, and this one's new, so we'll see how it goes. So far, I'm loving it, and I'm super excited about it. All right, and then moving on to the last one, and honestly probably the most complicated, which is why I saved it for last, is, if I can even get it over here, my budget planner. Now, this is a lot. It's not this much, trust me. This is my budget planner right now. This is the one that I've been using since about March, and it is the Budget by Paycheck Workbook by the Budget Mom. I did buy the printable version, and I love that option. I honestly don't know that I would ever buy the printed book, simply because, for one, the printed book has a lot of pages in it I don't need. She does like 5 budgets per month, I think, and at the most I usually have is two paychecks that I would need to budget for. Sometimes I even get away with just doing one, so it just all depends on what you need. But for me, I've loved printing it out because I can print out what I need. And the thing about putting it in a 3-ring notebook is that I could do it a little bit at a time and add it as I go. You can see here I have my little monthly tabs that I made. I was going to put on the Erin Condren ones and just never got around to it. And then I made like these little slips myself that were kind of the equivalent of like a cash envelope tracker, except since I haven't been buying many things in cash, most of the stuff I buy is online right now. So I was tracking it on here the same way as if you were tracking cash spending. So I made those myself. So even here it says September, but I have the other months in here. I printed out all of the dividers on cardstock, so they're pretty sturdy. So I can't say I won't go back to this binder at some point, but I did want to try something a little bit differently for 2020. So I'm going to put this aside for a little bit and show you what I have been planning differently. All right, so to hopefully explain this as clearly as possible, this is what I'm starting with. Now, right now it's just a pile of papers. I'm actually going to spiral bind it when I have a few more pages I want to print to put in it. So this will be a full-on notebook. What I have done with this is I've kind of integrated a couple things. The Money Challenge Workbook is made by Heidi at Debt Free Charts. The Money Challenge Workbook that she has made is amazing. I am so impressed with everything that she has done for it. Essentially, it is a money course. I keep calling it a course because that's what it feels like. Every month you create your own challenge. In order to help you do that, she has created monthly printables for each month of the year. So this workbook in general is not even part, I shouldn't say it's not even part. It's like an added bonus that goes along with the actual challenge that she's selling. Just the challenge printables are 12 months worth. Like I said, it's the 12 months of 2021 that has everything that you need to complete it the way she describes it. It has an instruction sheet, or multiple pages, I'm sure. But what this workbook is different about is that this is like a course in itself. This part right here, let me see. Okay, I think this is, okay, so this is where it starts. So these are the printables that it shows that you're specifically getting when you purchase it. This is like an added bonus. Like, this is a whole workbook where it explains different things that you can do and different things to think about. And it's got prompts to answer and journal about. Like, it's thorough. Like, this is amazing. And she included this with the challenge. So I have that first. Then I put in the beginning of the challenge printables. So you have the January tab, the beginning of January. And then I added in my budget by paycheck pages. So the ones that I didn't put in here are the expense trackers, and I'll explain that in a minute. This book, I want it to be more for an overview of the year and a reference, and like it says, a workbook. I did put these budget pages in here because I love these budget pages, and I'm honestly not sure if I'd rather use these or what I have here, but that's a whole different story. So I put these in just in case I do want to use them. So I have 2 of those. And then it goes into the monthly review worksheets. So you have the where did my money go worksheets. I have all 4 of those, or the 4 that I use. I think there's like a net worth one that I don't use and something. Anyway, the ones that I know that I'll use, I printed those ones. So I have 2 of the budgets and then the end of the month worksheets. I love this because it just gives me an overall idea of what I've done with my money throughout the month, so that I can make changes and improve and just be aware of what I'm actually doing. So then after those pages, this gets into Heidi's pages, or Debt Free Charts is her company. Okay, so but then this is where the challenge pages start. So I'm gonna move it over so you can see it better. Okay, so here you have the tracker to track your progress, tracking your income, evidence that you can, your spending days, counting my blessings, and then it moves on to February, and I repeat with the budget by paycheck worksheets, and then it goes into the February challenge. So this will be a book that I'm going to bind and use along with my budget. I know this is confusing. The budget thing is one thing I haven't specifically done a video on yet. And once I get this bound and all set up and probably start using it and actually know like how it's working for me, I do want to do a video on this. So probably early in the beginning of the year, I will do a video that shows this more in depth. So I'm sorry if this was confusing and a little scattered, but I will try to explain more later. So anyway, this is the main basis behind my budget for 2021. All right, so now going back to these. I have 2 here. This one is from Erin Condren. It's the new A5 budget book. I did film another video earlier today that goes over this in more detail, and so I will link to that one. And I do have a video explaining this one. This is the Clever Fox Budget and Bill Organizer, I believe it's called. I love this book. I love this one too. Both of them are pretty similar with what they have on the inside, and their function would be pretty similar in the way that I would use it. And so I'm not really sure which one I'm actually wanting to use. So that will be determined shortly since we're getting close to the end of the year. But I wanted to just give a brief overview about them. So inside the Erin Condren one, in each of your monthly pages, so here I wrote down the things that I'm planning on using the different sections for. So I can show you. This is what a blank one looks like. I kind of want to use it the same way the budget by paycheck worksheets are, where it kind of goes through a progression and you take out the most important things first and then see the money that you're left with, and you just figure out where it all needs to go to have a zero-based budget. And so these are kind of just how I was making notes of how I was planning to do it. After that, it has the spending summary. Oh, and I didn't show you the beginning. Okay, so this is the front, like on the front of the tab. It has this little page here where you can do future purchases, future bills, savings goals, and it has the 3 circles and important dates this month. Where this, I would probably just use it as a checklist for anything that I have coming up. Probably any expenses that I have coming up during the month. So then you have the budget, and then you have 6 pages of these spending summaries. So 3 spreads, but 6 pages. And these you could use it all as one, like throughout all the pages. You could divide it up into 3 categories, or you could divide it up into 6, or however you want. So that's pretty basic. Like, that's the essence of what the budget book is. The Clever Fox one is pretty similar. And it has some few goal setting pages in the front. Well, let's see. Okay, so here's the beginning of one of the months. So here you have this month's goals. a checklist, income, savings, you have a calendar. Then over here, again, you just have some categories and they're not filled in. The categories are named, but you don't have things listed out here. I love that this one does have the budgeted and the actual, while the Erin Condren book, just, let's see, it doesn't really have enough room for both, unless you kind of expanded it out, which is what I was planning on doing. So you have like the category here, or the expense here, you have budgeted, actual, and then the difference. So you could do it that way, which is how I would probably do it if I used this one. But on this one, it does just have budgeted and actual, which I like. But other than that, like the budget page itself is pretty similar to the Erin Condren one. And then again, it just goes into expense trackers. This one does have just 4 pages. So it has, yeah, 2 spreads, 4 full pages. The main difference with this one is that at the end, it has a pocket for bills, which I love. Like, this is one of my favorite things about this planner is the pocket in the back, or not in the back, the pocket in each month. Each month has its own pocket, which I think is really cool. So there's that. And then it has the monthly budget review, which the Erin Condren one doesn't have either. Anyway, so I'm undecided of which one of these I'm going to be using in conjunction with the Money Challenge workbook and my other budget by paycheck pages. But that's pretty much my setup. So I know that's kind of a lot, and a lot of it's complicated, but most of this is like, I think the budget is probably like the newest thing for me. And even then, like the budget by paycheck pages, I've been using those since March. And so I already know how those work for me. And a lot of this is just stuff that I've already been doing. And so for me, in my head, it's not really complicated because it just makes sense. Things like my content planning and my budget, I've learned I need to have those in separate planners. They need to be in somewhere, a different place than my regular planner. Powersheets, I just love the Powersheets goal planner. And it's so nice to have that much room to focus on my goals. It really helps me make it a priority in my life. And so I'm really happy with the ones that I've chosen, and I'm really excited about the new ones that I'm starting in 2021. So again, I will link everything down below. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I will do my best to answer as quickly as possible. If you want to see more planner videos, I would love if you subscribed and gave this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.